Hey, it's Mark. I found some interesting stocks when I was looking through my scans tonight, and I want to touch on that and some of the sort of big picture things I'm seeing with these junk bonds. Like a lot of people have been looking at the on my Twitter. I see a lot of people looking at the 10-year and 10-year yield and 10-year bonds. But if you're looking for a leading indicator on equities, in the past, junk bonds have at times been a leading indicator for the direction of stocks. So I just want to do some analysis on these junk bonds here. And junk bonds are just corporate bonds that are like with low rating, and they usually have a higher yield. So it's some of the lesser rated bonds, like lower quality, you'd say. But the thing is, a lot of times these can be sort of like a risk on, you'll see junk bonds do bad, the market's bad a lot of times. So the long-term chart on junk bonds is the ticker HYG or JNK. The HYG seems to have more volume nowadays, so I'll just use that one. So it's got a sort of a base here. It formed it's tried to bottomed in October with equities. So it's kind of tracked equities a little bit here. And of course, it underperformed. It's not going to perform as well as equities this year, but it's got this slight uptrending chart. So the technicals still look bullish as it just continues to uptrend, even though it's not making highs. It looks like a consolidation. But the test is going to come really soon. Like I put a chart out on Twitter how it's in this tight channel right here, and it's got another tight channel it's in. So this is going to sort itself out. I think in the next month or so at least, we'll see if how the yields break and everything works out here. But if there's an appetite for corporate bonds, for corporate bonds, usually there's an appetite for equities, and a lot of times the bond market is ahead of equities. People say that a lot, and it's kind of a common theme is the bond market's always right, because the bonds are really important. So that's one of the things I was looking at, and I want to jump into some stocks here. The ones I found on Friday, or on Friday, did pretty well. These RSI, I mentioned that one, and it's starting to move up off that bull flag that I saw, and I talked about that one on Friday. Unfortunately, I didn't enter anything today because I had an appointment today, so I kind of missed that one. But we'll see. I think it's just going to keep going. It looks really good. I think it's got a chance to just make a lot of new highs here. Another one I just found again that I looked at earlier was SoundHound AI. These AI plays are pretty good. If it's got momentum, an AI play is really good. And it's kind of just sold off from a big spike it had. It has a history of spikes if you look at it. And it had a really good ranging day today, and the volume is pretty high. And they just reported earnings. I don't know how the earnings were, but it looks like the market digested that and maybe trying to push it up higher here, and it just took out some downtrend. Let's draw a clear downtrend line. Yep, it looks like it's breaking the downtrend, because it popped out of the short-term downtrend here too. So it looks like the earnings are or the forecast is okay. So this one I'd watch for some more follow through, because that's a really good volume and a really good spike today. What was it up? It was up 23% today. So that's pretty noteworthy in the market today. Let's look at IWM. I've been talking about that, how this support line needs to hold, and it looks like it just came below. It came below this new support level, which was resistance and now support, and it pushed off of that really good. So looks like it kind of took out the support trend line, the blue line. But I mean, it's okay if it does that for a day or two, but it's got to reclaim it. So it's really trying to stabilize here and make another push higher. Definitely doesn't look super bearish at the moment. KRE, it's just a really slow mover. It's just doesn't really go anywhere. But it looks like it's trending downward. But it'd be interesting to see what IWM does if KRE keeps going down. But if the banks can hold here, I don't see why IWM doesn't go up, because the regional banks have just been the laggard on it. They tend to weigh down the small caps in the index, at least. That's why I'm more interested in these like stocks instead of the IWM and the Russell index. I was talking about MLSS the other day. That one's still breaking out. See, it comes off of flags, these long flags. It just came off of another long flag. And I was talking about this one last week. Really good volume today. That's still a good long on a breakout. NRDY is still kind of trying to hold. It held that level. The RGTI has been another good comeback. It came back off of that 159.60 area hold, and it just reclaimed this trend support, the diagonal line there. So this one looks good still. I still got calls like a month or two out. Maybe they're even October, but I bought I got some $5 calls. But this one's still looking good. It's coming back. Let's look at China. Still bearish on China. I've got FXI puts, and it's going well. It's testing the bottom of this channel right now. So we may get a bounce, or it may just go down and test the support. I expect it to test and break down below this long-term support line right there. So I think 26 is on the table soon, but I wouldn't be surprised if it bounces here, because it's right at this channel support. Likes to bounce off of that, bounce there and there. So that's another one to watch. I've been looking at a lot of these emerging markets and international funds, because I think, with the world being connected now, the economy is really global, and cracks in certain economies and markets can bleed through to others. So like I was saying back in the past, like a lot of people probably don't know this, but back in 2006, 2007, or in 2007, the Chinese stock market crashed way ahead of the United States. The S&P, the banking trouble took longer to pan out, but the Shanghai Composite and all those stocks they had back when I was blogging back then, and I realized the P ratios were insane back in that crash. I guess it was 2007. The P ratios were like over 50, or I mean, it was ridiculous. And that was kind of the peak of the Chinese secular bull market. With because back in the early 2000s, a lot of people were investing in China. Like the way these countries go is they get hot, like the hot money goes in and then it goes out. Like when I did my research paper in college on Argentina back in the 2000s, well, late 90s and 2000s, Argentina had a lot of capital inflows and investment, and then it just kind of dried out. And looks like it's not going to show me the years on here, but I was trying to see. There we go. Yeah, if you look in 2007, the Chinese stock market topped back in October, and I posted that on my blog. Like I got a little lucky, but I would say I was pretty astute in the timing. Like around the first or the second top there, I just saw that the P ratios were way overvalued for a long-term range, and the market was just straight up. So I thought it was a good short, and it crashed really way before the United States. I mean, the most of the U.S. crash was in 2008, but it was a little ahead of the S&P. Kind of just out of curiosity, I want to see how many months ahead it was. Because when I see, like, what I see now is you see the weakness in China. China's really weak, and if their market does continue to break down, that could be a foreshadowing of the rest of the world. But I mean, I think it's more, to my understanding, the exports are more spread out now. Like there's a lot of other countries that export, but it could be telling. Yeah, so in 2007, I think it was like a couple of weeks earlier. Well, it looks like it was pretty close actually. But the top was early October. Huh? Yeah, I may have been wrong, but they were pretty close. They were closer than I thought they were. I could have sworn that the FXI was earlier, but it just goes. I mean, it kind of reiterates my point there that the markets are pretty connected sometimes. I mean, you see it basically tracked the S&P on the way down. So, like, if you look at what it's doing right now, I mean, right now it's just still range bound. So it's got to catch up or break down, but it's not the all-telling factor, but it's just something to watch. But I think all the data points to it being bearish. So I don't see why this support doesn't break. The other one was the RSI. Yeah, I tweeted that one. That one's a good one to watch. GLDD, I just found that one. This is a good long. They had earnings recently, and the market was up on the earnings, and it's just been consolidating. And the earnings were looked to be a catalyst, and it reclaimed the trend support, and it's breaking out of a flag here. So it's a really nice flag, and you can see the volume just declines every day on the flag, which is what you want to see on a bull flag. So this is a really good one too. They're I didn't know about this company, but apparently they're the largest dredging company. They're working on wind farms, and they're putting out in press releases that they're talking to the president about these wind farms, or at least to his office or whatever. So there might be something developing here with their growth. They've been beating earnings the past couple of quarters. The balance sheet's okay. The current ratio is good. It's not a great balance sheet, but it's okay. And it's got a nice took out the base here. It kind of based out, so it's a bottom. It's definitely formed a bottom, and this one's a really good one for a long. It's got some good momentum, especially with the weak sectors the past couple weeks. So this is another favorite for a long. Really nice bull flag, really nice. Did the Sound Lab. I was looking at that one too. It's got a long-term base and keeps breaking out. Looks like it's definitely holding. It's got a good long-term bottom going, and it's got a lot of upside potential. I think it goes to 350. Could easily go to 350s. What was that high there? Oh, 315. But it's got some resistance major up at around 4. That's another good one from the long side. Clove's been doing good. Got some of this one. It kind of surprised everybody and just came back here. It's got some good technicals going. It's got an uptrend, and it's got the thing that I like to see now, that good good long-term rounding base and breakout above resistance. The MITK is really interesting too. It's got that RSI it's got that bull flag going. It's got a nice bull flag going. Really nice one. And this is the resistance area from way back. Goes way back to August last year. And this one's a really good company. It's got good growth, and you can see the volumes. It's been light compared to the buys, so this light sell volume is indicative of a bull flag. The thing you like to do is I look for things that would tell me that it's not what I think it is. So like, you have to stay open-minded with the volume and with the setup. So if the volume's low, that means there's people still buying and it's just a consolidation. If the volume's higher, or there's a lot of high sell volume, then it's probably not a bull flag. It's just like continued pressure, people dumping shares. So that's another good one to watch for a long. I'm just finding a lot of longs here, but I do have some shorts too. Save's still coming down. It's nice. The buyout on this one, they're getting bought out for $33 a share. It's not finalized from my memory, but looks like the regulators and them are trying to work it out, or they're going to work it out with the regulators so they can get the deal done. But the market's just way off on this. Like, I don't think it's not given enough credibility to the possibility of that. What else we got? I think that's about it for the longs. Let's go to shorts. GNS is a supernova watch now. It's up huge last week or so. And maybe it's got one more day of a run, but or more, I mean, if it keeps going, it could keep going. But if it shows weakness, it's a good short. Maxon was another one I'm looking at. Needs to break down. It's kind of needs to break below 1450. JKS, I gotta check on that one because it just had earnings. But if it's weak off of earnings, I think that's gonna have more downside. What else we got? Fate. It's just another one of those I talked about on Friday. It just keeps going down every day. Shorts are in control. Sellers and shorts. So this one I think goes lower still. And look at the volume. There's a lot of sold volume today. Traded 363 million shares today. That's a good one. It's got that stair stepper going down. Getty, you gotta check on that one too. They had earnings. The cutter, this one's kind of stubborn. It's really finding some support here. So we'll see what that does. But it's not my favorite. RAD. I still have my puts in this one, and it's a really beautiful bearish engulf. It just totally engulfed that green candle Friday. I've got puts on this one still, and I'm just looking to take profit below 2. I've got $2 strikes, so not trying to get too greedy and just lock in some profit there. Looks like it's going to flush again tomorrow. Look at that. I mean, it's just super selling there. PTON is it kind of bounced back like IWM did. It's just kind of been tracking the index, but I think it was actually pretty oversold. I mean, look at it. It kind of it got a little oversold, but I like this one. I still like it short because it took out a lot of resistance. I mean, a lot of support levels. But I'll be looking to lock in those puts too soon. Not a really good print today for the short, but I mean, look, it was down 3 days in a row, so it's gonna bounce, right? UNG, I have some UNG calls. It's just a technical play. The fundamentals are actually not incredibly bullish or bearish, but the technicals can sometimes be ahead of the game. So it looks kind of like it's resting here. It's still uptrending. Google, I was watching that one. Looks like it's holding this trend support channel line here. I don't really see a long or a short at the moment on that one, but I prefer it short if it does break down. Ally's got some long-term trend support. It's coming up on. I really think it's going to have some pressure going forward, like they're a brokerage, but they're also the largest auto loan holder in America and maybe in the world. There's a GMAC. They merged with a long time ago, and it's basically an auto loan company. I mean, a lot of their revenue is auto loans. So these auto loans are pretty. The rates are really high. So I don't think it's going to take much to impact them negatively if there's any defaults. So so that's one. If you're bearish, that's a good one. That's a good one to watch for this trend support. I think the autos are a serious risk, and like a lot of people may not factor that in too. They just know it as a brokerage company, but or a financial. But it's really it's a big auto loan company too. Yeah. So my favorites still is my RAD is probably my favorite short right now still, because it's got incredible day range, and I wish we could get some more sell volume, because the sell volume was pretty light today, but just looking to get out of that one. Let's give it some other watches. I had some more longs, I think. No, that's the other one. Let's look at some energy stocks. It's like a pretty bad day for energy, except KLXE. It's still holding in there. Looks like the best one today. The GGY had a pullback. Not really serious. I still got calls on that one. So I mainly just wanted to talk about the junk bonds, how they're shaping up, and some of these stocks I just found with really good charts. Let's go ahead and we can look at the Qs, I guess. Yeah, it's got this channel. It's in a channel still, and it bounced off the channel support. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually gets. Well, it's got even a tighter channel now, but if it can reclaim this level here, it could get bullish. Like you can see that long horizontal line. Because like Nvidia had a big spike today, but the yeah, you can see it with the semis, like kind of the same story, just a downtrend. TLRY. Oh, that's a nice bull flag, and it did just what I thought it was gonna do, because I said it was gonna probably hammer. I thought the hammer would be a little higher, but it did hammer after that shooting star, like it did it there too, back in early August. Did the same thing, but I was hoping it would hammer a little higher, because it's going to try to break out of this flag tomorrow, it looks like. So I still like that as a long. It's a good long still. See if we can call that trend support. So yeah, it hammered off the trend support. That's good to see if you're long. A hammer off of the trend support's a really good good stick. So that's another good long. I found a lot more longs tonight. I went through these short scans, but I didn't find much really. And there was a couple more speculative longs, but I mean, like maybe I can find it real quick. I mean, I can't. I don't. They weren't that great, so I just kind of like to tweet out and talk about my favorite setups, because I know these bull flags and these long setups are pretty easy to see. So that one kind of looks like a flag too. ROVR. I see there's a lot of these like SPACs. Like there's still like the SPACs are back, which I guess is short-term bullish. I mean, if it says acquisition, a lot of times those are SPACs. I'm kind of curious because I see so many of these SPACs now. It's $1 billion company. Pet care. Oh, that's a good one. Wow. Pet sitting, boarding, pet sitting. Pets are good business. I did an article on pet stocks a long time ago on Stock Pursuit. The people spend money on their pets even in recessions. I mean, it's like obviously it's a very defensive sector or industry. People spend money on their pets, I mean, if you can imagine. And as there's a lot of the demographics have a lot of older people. There's a lot of older people now, and their pets are like their kids, like or people without kids, their pets are just like their kids. So looks like they got some good earnings forecasted. Yep, earnings revision. Their earnings revision has been up. Their earnings are they doubled their guidance about a month ago. I'm surprised I didn't know about this one because I looked at almost every. I think I looked at every pet stock that was public back in. They just IPO'd, it looks like. Because I did the article back in like 2017 or 18 or something like that. So that makes sense. It's an IPO. They just IPO'd a couple years ago. Yeah, that's a good looking prospect there. I mean, look at the revenue growth; it's been really good. I wonder if they had acquisition on their last name. I don't know. Maybe the ticker symbol is because you saw they had it said acquisition, but it's called Rover Group. ROVR. Let's look at their balance sheet and their their earnings growth is or the revenue growth is really good. They almost doubled revenue in 2022, and they doubled it in 21. That's really good. I mean, look at the trajectory the past 3 years. They've been beating earnings past 2 quarters. They haven't had profitability. So they had a profitable quarter in 22. But if they're actually going to turn profitable, that's a good thing. Like a turn in profitability is always a good thing. Looks like they had some free cash flow in 21. Let's see what the balance sheet's like. Yeah, the balance sheet looks fine. So really good. There's a lot of current assets. It's a good current ratio. They've actually decreased their long-term debt since 22. They've decreased their long-term debt. Like that's a good thing you want to see is if a company is reducing debt consistently, that's good, obviously. they've issued some more shares, but the dilution doesn't look. They haven't been diluting like crazy or anything. I mean, it's pretty much flat, really. Almost. Was it just 2 million shares more? So yeah, this one looks good. Let's see. They got a ton of cash. They got 193 million in cash on the balance sheet. That's the most they've had ever, or at least since a year ago. Well, I see more cash here, but anyway, the balance sheet's fine. That's a good one. Let's see the see what the technicals are like. Yeah, it went up after earnings, and it's just been consolidating. This volume, the red may be wrong on my sometimes these platforms can give you the wrong color on the volume. Yeah, and this other on stockcharts.com it has a more positive volume on the earnings day. But it's a pretty weird candle though. But I mean it's a black candle, but it's a bull flag for sure. And what do you know? It's another one of those bases. Call that a base there. Yeah, it's got a bottom. The ultimate test was there, but it's a technical bottom because it took out some major resistance there. So man, it's another good one long. Let's see what the valuation was. I mean, it's $1 billion company. One of those companies, I think it was I just want to jump back to one real quick while I was thinking about it. This the GLDD, that one's trading for less than sales. It's like not even 1x sales. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, it's trading for, it's at 0.98% of 0.98 of sales, because the sales were more than the market cap. So that's pretty good in a market that's up 30% this year. Of course, it's a small company, so you can find things like that in small companies. But yeah, I mean, if I was a fund manager, or asset manager, I would just be putting money to work in small companies. Like, if you have to buy things, there's no reason not to buy these small companies with better valuations. So that's, but yeah, let's go back to the rover. It's cool. I found that I was just kind of looking through the scans, and usually the charts kind of point me to the fundamentals too. And then when they both align, then it's a really good setup. That's a good business. The pets are a really good business. I mean, just anecdotally, I knew somebody that used to pet sit, and she pet sit for like a small business owner, and since she made tons of money, and it's just a really good should be a good cash flow, good business, because you've got like recurring revenue stream. Yeah, I was looking at the fundamentals here. So it's got sales of 1 billion, 1.1 billion, or market cap. Well, yeah, it looks like it's pretty, it's not cheap on the price to sales, but the thing is that if they do actually get net income positive, that's a big catalyst. Yeah, then they can start. They might get picked up by analysts. Well, there's already 7 analysts on it, but if that forecast is correct, that's over 100% earnings growth. So I guess the price to sales doesn't really matter much. If they're turning to profitability, probably, but the sales forecast seems it's positive, but well, that's 19% growth. So let's say they do turn positive. If they get this income, net income positive, I think it can grow into the valuation here. Looks like they're going to grow earnings like over 100%. So we'll see what the technicals do. I think it's a good one, probably a good one long term actually. These pet companies, I've seen a lot of buyouts. A lot of pet companies get bought out. They'll be the most random companies will just decide to buy a veterinarian or something. Like one of them, because I used to look at all the stocks and I can't think of the ticker symbol, but one of them was a veterinarian, and probably Wolf, maybe WOOF, or one of those, and they got bought out by like a drug company or something, like, or another healthcare company. These pet businesses are in high demand. It's actually a good idea. I mean, like, it'd be fun to start a pet business or something. Like, there's a lot. It's a big market, really big market. So that's a good one to watch too. ROVR, but it's got to break above this flag. And let's see if I can give an exact number here. Yeah, it was that 6. I'm just looking at these numbers. 652. It topped out at 645 to 652. So let's see if somebody comes in and bids it up at 650. So it needs about 655, 653. I always like to put it a little bit higher than the level, because that means it's going to hold it more likely. A lot of times things will bounce off of levels or hit them and fail. So let's say 653, 655 hits that. Looks good. Looks good. It's probably a good one for the long term too. I mean, it's been down so much, but if they're actually turning to profitability, that's like a turnaround. So that's a good one. And yeah, the other one's the India. I was looking at. I shorted India with puts, but I've got long puts on it. Looks like it's got a lag here. So I took the puts on that breakdown. So that's going well. I think it's just going to crash. So I've got puts, and it's just based on what it's done in the past. Like, when it goes down fast, like here. So, I mean, look at that gap. Look at it, lost 10% almost in a month or two. So I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to the about halfway in there. So I think it's gonna hit 42 for sure. 42 area. There's a level right there. That's a level. You can see it's been clear. 42.75. Yep. 42.70s. 42.70. So yeah, 42.70 to 42.75 is my target. It'll probably bounce there. I'm pretty confident it's going to go there too. I mean, you look at, it's got a channel going down there. So once it gets in these channels, it just keeps going. See these channels. It trades really well on technicals. I hadn't looked at this in a long time in the Indian market, but you can see it just traded really well off the bull flags. Bull flag, kind of like Vietnam. Like Vietnam has been crazy. I just put that one on Twitter. Vietnam just broke out to a new high, 52 week. Had a really good base. An uptrend. And it's got some resistance there at 16, or around 16. So that's been sort of the darling of the Asian markets. I like to look at Australia too, because Australia intertwines with the Asian markets, because Australia is a big exporter of commodities and raw materials. So Australia is actually a bigger exporter, or pretty much the same as China. So I like to watch this for the exports. It's testing some support right now. So this might actually, looks like it might actually lead China. But that's something to watch, see what, because I think it's kind of going in lockstep with China, and like I was saying, they're both intertwined. So we gotta watch that. All right, well, that's what I want to talk about today. So I'll finish up there and have a good night.